Hey, some sweets on my Cheetos. You guys have asked me if I could share my secrets or so-called art tips, and I will gladly do so. So I have gathered 12 points that I'm gonna go through. These tips has really helped me improve as an artist, and I hope it will do the same for you. So sit by and let's go through them together. So the first tip is to draw as often as you can. Staying consistent is key to get better at anything. If you want to improve, you must dedicate your time into it. Make room in your schedule and make it a daily habit. Personally, I draw hours a day. That might be a bit overkill, yes. So if you're not used to drawing much, start easy with 10 to 20 minutes a day. It will do wonders in the long run. Tip number 2. There's no shame in using references. Even my best art teacher uses it for every masterpiece. It's okay to even straight up copy a drawing. That is called a study. You might not own the original idea, you recreated it for practicing purposes. But you can, just like AI, take small parts from many different pictures and create something new with it. For an example, when I created this drawing, I used 5 references combined, blending things together, creating something new out of it. References are especially good when you want to draw anatomy. 3. Break things down into shapes. When you draw anything, don't think of the outline, think of the build. For an example, I want to draw this Pikachu. I make the head a circle, the body an oval, the limbs and ears could be ovals too. And lastly, the tail could be built up of rectangles. And I add the details and smallest curves afterwards. I personally draw everything in this way. It's a very effective way to get a deeper understanding of the motive. And it's a great start and could even help you add more depth into your drawings. 4. Draw many different things. I personally was very stubborn as a child and really struggled with this. I drew the same damn things over and over again, and that is not good. Be wild and be free to challenge yourself. Think of this, your mind is like a library. You cannot have the same book on every shelf. Drawing different things will also improve your creativity to blend different mediums into one new creation. It's as if having a mood board stored in your brain with things that inspires you from past experiences. 5. Practice perspective. Personally, not my favorite thing. I find it pretty boring, honestly. But it's very helpful. You can draw rectangular blocks and different angles up to down. Draw different blobs and shadow them with thin lines. The closer the lines are, the more you get the snatched look. And the further space, you get the more extracted look. Experiment with shapes as if they were in a room. It's easy to start with rectangle blocks or cylinders for that one. 6. How to color in realism. Do not restrict yourself with a color palette. My hand, for an example, is a light skin tone, yes, but I can also see blue, purple, pink, yellow, red, and perhaps green hiding in there. So what I meant to say is that colors can be really deceiving. And to reach realism, you need to use many colors. To me, colors is depth. And whenever you want to draw something in realism, hold up and study it closely. And if you do find it hard to know which colors to use, you can even download Ibris Paint. Put your reference or picture in there, go to the water drop and see on the wheel which exact color you're gonna use. And collect the colors and start out with the lightest always and go from there. 7. Shadowing. There are countless of ways to shadow, depending on your style and artistic choice. There are actual names for shadowing when it comes to using pencil on paper. Personally, my favorite technique is called hatching, which is straight lines, up to down, side to side, doesn't matter really, and then smudge it out with my finger, and if I'm really serious, I pick up a cotton wand. But you might ask, how do I know where to put the shadow? For an example, I want to shadow this face. First, I need to decide from which direction I want the light to come from. Then I need to think of which part of the face that pokes out the most, as if it was in 3D. However, all faces look different, but on average you'd say that the forehead, eyebrows, nose, cheeks, and chin pokes out the most, leaving rest of the face in a shadow. Let's just keep that in mind, and then we need to remember where we place the sun. If it was on the side of our motif, we need to pay attention to the nose and how it overshadows the lip and more part of the cheek. And if you find it difficult, always Google up a reference. And remember that shadows work very differently depending on light, texture, form, and environment. And when you do want to color and shadow, always start with the lightest color and then work yourself down. Because it's easier to change a color that's lighter to something darker. 8. Improving your anatomy. There are many ways to draw bodies, but the one technique I do personally recommend is, as I said before, break things down into shapes. I usually build humans up on boxes and cylinders, and to keep the proportions right, I measure from the top of the head down to the crotch, which will be the same length as the legs. So in summary, I think of the human body built up on 8 heads. And to improve quickly, as I said, use references of real people, of course. And when I'm unsure, I do look at myself in the mirror sometimes, even feeling my own bone structure and how my muscles are placed to get a deeper understanding. 9. Poses. If you have a character, for an example, it will be fun to put them in a pose to add some more personality. What I usually do is search up references through Pinterest or just take the picture myself. And since you know how to draw anatomy from my last tip, I still don't want you to get things too difficult. Start off easy by a circle and some lines attaching from it. Boom! You have a stick man. And make sure that the proportions is right before you get too detailed. Do not underestimate stickmen. 10. Where to put your focus, as in spending your time on your drawing. It is very easy to get stuck on small details in the beginning and then lose motivation later because you feel like you're not going anywhere. So instead of focusing on the eye you really want to finish because it's so damn satisfying, focus on coloring everything in a base color first. Then add small details as the last thing you do. 11. Outlines. For an example, you're making a comic and you want a specific motive to be in focus. You can achieve this very easily by making the outline thicker around the object. Thickness of lines can also help you make things appear more structured and clean. And at last, 12. Failure is progression. Even when I work out at the gym, I want to reach failure because then I know my muscles will build up to be stronger next time. Have that in your mind. It is okay to fail and it will take time. You want to stretch your limits and boundaries, and that's how you learn. And small improvements is still improvements, and be proud of what you are achieving every day. And there's no tip in the world that will make you better without your investment. Drawing is difficult. I still think it is, but it's a beautiful thing to express yourself with. I'd say each drawing is a new puzzle you need to solve. And remember to have fun. Stay curious, positive, and good luck, y'all. I really hope this helped you on your drawing journey. These are the best tips I know personally. And if this didn't help you, I would really like to know in the comments. I need some criticism, and we can talk about it, and I can try to answer. Obviously, I don't know everything. I hope you like this, however. Leave a like if you do. Subscribe if you want to see me again. And have a good one.